Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to another podcast episode of Life Decoded. As you can see, this is just like every other episode I did so far, but it is the first time that I don't have any guest with me. And there are just multiple factors explaining why I didn't make it this month and why I just, couldn't get anybody on board. But actually, this is quite good because Life Decoded is now a whole half year old. We already got 6 episodes of this podcast, and every single conversation I had with other people in this podcast, they were just life-changing for me. And I just want to go with you through every single one of them and what I learned from the persons that I talked to. So even when you don't speak any German and didn't see the first episodes and all that stuff, here will be something great for you. So thank you very much, like always, for tuning in into this, very special Life Decoded episode. So it actually all started 6 months ago. About more, 7 months ago or 8 months ago in the December of 2024. In this time frame, I wrote to multiple people and I just asked them if they want to do a podcast with me. No episodes, only a German trailer that was, let's be honest, it's kind of bad, but we managed to get someone, and it was Jonas Friedrich, a actually very well-known football or soccer commentator here in Germany. He commentates the Bundesliga or the Champions League, all the big games for FC Bayern Munich, and I actually know his voice and his name for a very long time, so the first guest was a very, very, very big thing for me. So the first time I arrived at his bureau and we were actually late, we had a few minutes to go and we were just too late to the podcast meeting and he was completely chill about it. Just the calmness himself. And then we started my first ever podcast episode talking to someone I didn't know or didn't even talk to longer than 5 minutes more ago. So it was just crazy, but he was so calm and it made everything easier. I think if I didn't had Jonas Friedrich as my first guest, multiple things would have been way harder than they are right now. So when talking to him, I had a lot of new ideas and he actually talked about the art of just doing. Don't put it into a later time frame. Don't scoop it up there. Don't find any excuses to don't do anything. Just do it. And he said it like that. Just do it. And I tried. I really tried. For the next few months, I just did. When I had an idea in this podcast frame, I did it. The 30 days of cold showers, I did it. The 30 days of 100 burpees a day, I did not do it yet, but we are in the middle of it. So if you want to check it out, here's the Instagram. If you want to, just check out every single stories every single day about my 100 burpees a day. And you need to know, 1 year ago, I just finished my studies in the school system here in Germany. And now I have this, apprenticeship really. And I love it. I completely love it. And I need to do the podcast on the side of it. And that's completely fine up until to the next guest. Because the next guest was Gerd Kraus, a communication coach. And he talked about how you need to communicate with your partner, with your business, your colleagues, all that stuff. How you get just understood and how you understand other people. And it was crazy what you've learned there. Just multiple things that I pretty much use every single day right now here in my life. So it was a crazy conversation with someone I also didn't know before and who wasn't that well known, but that's nothing we care about. It was just a crazy conversation that changed the whole way I was looking on communication. And yeah, I know every single one of us got this subject on their time frame in school, or they had to talk to teachers about it and all that stuff. But coming from him, he had so different views on multiple things that, yeah, just changed how I communicate or present myself to others. And it worked because I actually need to for this podcast. So I used that as well and tried to just do it like Jonas Friedrich told me in the first episode of this podcast, and just do. And so we kept on going, and it actually worked quite well. We got the next guest, and yeah, just a hard guest to me. It was Wild und Fremd, a podcast you out there maybe don't know, but it's a podcast very, very, well known in Germany. They have the German Podcast Prize, the last one of its kind, and they just do stories about discoverers or explorers and, just talk about it. They're going about it like journalists would. They dig very, very deep and find everything about a story, and then they manage to record it and put it with multiple sound effects. It's so crazy how immersive those podcast episodes are, and I really love them. I also had the pleasure to, do voice actings for them, and one of my best work so far, with no doubt. And I talked to them about how you do a podcast, how you come up, how you need to manage everything. And that was the first time anybody told me how to do a podcast. I mean, of course, this whole podcast is just a parody to Modern Wisdom or Tim Gabel's podcast here in Germany. So I tried to do something very similar to them, but still my own. And this was the first time someone told me to really do your own. Until this point, I just tried to be like someone else in the podcast business. I tried to do the thumbnails as good as possible and all those perfectionistic, stuff. And with that episode, with Wild and Fremd, I just managed to go about it with my heart. And they just told me, basically, when you want to do something, it is not enough to just do it. You also need to want it. Really want it from the bottom of your heart. And the next few days after this podcast episode, I actually didn't edit it right away like I do always. I thought about the whole thing here, if it's the right thing and all that stuff. And I think it's the right time frame as well, because 3 months after starting something new, after doing something, after changing something about your life, you will always have those second thoughts about it. Do you really want to do it? Is it this hard work really worth it? And it's completely normal because of the Gartner hype cycle. It basically says that in the beginning, you're just completely hyped up. Everything is so easy. And then you fall down and you just, see all of the borders of your work or what you do and all that stuff. And then you come up again and find the stage of productivity. And the person who taught me that was actually Timo Book. Someone I talked to in my 4th podcast episode, someone who is a data scientist, who really is behind all of the AI stuff, all of the artificial intelligence, how it works, how it will work in a few years, how it is operating at the moment, and how you can use it to be better than the rest on the job market. And all I took from this conversation, or mainly the main thing I took from this conversation, was that you don't need to be afraid about AI. It won't take your job as long as you know how to use it. Like, think about it. There was the time that the PC or the computer was a new thing, and everybody who refuses to use it is still in a disadvantage at this moment. There are still people, teachers or some of that kind, who refuse to work with computers around the day. And they're ultimately just worse in their quality, in their studies and all that stuff, because the time is changing, and if you don't go with the time, you will get left behind. But it's nothing you should be afraid of, because it just should be something you actually enjoy. Because, wow, it makes everything easier. The AI, it helps you with everything. You can now get images. You can just ask ChatGPT how you should go around your day or about your day and all that stuff. It actually can be your personal coach on a very, very simple level. And we have all of this ability now. We just need to use it. And that shouldn't be something you want to refuse or you want to do it on your own and all that stuff. I was actually like that for the last 2 years. ChatGPT is around for 2 years. I didn't use it until this podcast episode. I completely underestimated the whole thing behind it. Yeah, it doesn't work perfectly. Yeah, it's maybe not there where many people believe it is right now. And yeah, of course, it does a lot of mistakes. And when they do mistakes, they don't tell you that they just did a mistake. They will try to defend it with their life, those AIs. And yeah, that's just the hard thing about it. But as soon as you figure that out and really get behind it and really know how you can use it on this Gartner hype cycle, then you will do it perfectly and you will work with it in symbiosis, I don't know the word, but together. You're just going to work with it together. And together you will be better than the ones who don't work with AI. And with better, I of course mean outperformed in the job or any other thing you want to outperform anybody. And that brings me to the next topic. Actually, something I did talk to Leonard, someone I just met, someone I knew before I talked to him for about half a year at this point of the podcast recording. And this is the whole thing. When you want to perform better than others, you're just going wrong about it. You need to perform better than you did yesterday. Just you versus you. It is basically all about that. And he is the one who really lives it. He made his first social media account in 2020 and all that stuff. And he actually got bullied for it in school a bit. And he managed to go around it and don't just overthink about all the opinions of others. Yeah, he did fail for the first time and all that stuff, but he came up stronger. And now, with just 17 to 18 years of age, he built something that many young men or young people out there are just dreaming of this social, personal brand out there. And something I'm actually dreaming of as well. So it was quite interesting to talk to him and his perspective on life, on how he thinks about the opinions of others. And at the end of the day, you just shouldn't care about them. And it's just that easy, right? No, it isn't. But as long as you don't see this whole live game as competing against others, because it's really not that. You're not in a rivalry with the people in your class or your job or all that stuff. You're actually with them together. You should see them as comrades rather than rivalry or enemies, because they are not. The only enemy you have is yourself. And that's the only border you can set for yourself. If you think you can't do it, you won't do it, and you won't be able to do it. If you think you can, you might have a chance, but there's still your body and your mind who have their borders, but you are able to push them when you just fight against yourself and don't see others as, competition or something you should refer to. You should never compare yourself to others. And I know you know that, and I know that, but it's just hard with all the social media stuff and all the people who are sharing all their stories. And that's one of the main reasons this podcast exists, because I just want to do it and show you how it is real in the real life world. I don't have any knowledge in podcasts. I don't even have a guest today. And I failed a lot with this podcast so far, and still I keep going. But that's not about to flex or anything. I just want to show you that you can too, because I don't have the plan about anything. Really, I don't. And I try to learn, and everything I do learn, I try to share with you. That's the whole reason behind this podcast. It shouldn't be something like Modern Wisdom or Joe Rogan or all that stuff. Yeah, this is the holy grail up there, but mainly this should be something for itself, and that's what I'm working on consistently. Okay, so that brings us to the 6th episode, the last one, the one with Jill Maurice, the first episode that got longer than an hour, and the first episode that I was actually prepared for. Don't get me wrong, I always have scripts, all the questions sorted out before the recording, but normally I go to other people, get into their bureau or their living room and just set up everything, and that takes some time. So just setting up this microphone or all those cameras and everything, it's quite time consuming. And with Jill Maurice, it wasn't, because I got to the premise early, could put everything up, then I waited on him, and then he came and we talked for the first time, as always actually in this podcast, and it worked quite well, as always. So, yeah. I started talking to him about who he is and what he does. And if you don't know Jill Maurice, it's completely fine. But he's actually a top model, a businessman, a multi-degree man in international unis and all that stuff, and international colleges. Yeah, it's just crazy. He's an athlete as well. And he did that, all of that, in 23 years of age. And that's just crazy. I gotta tell you, all he did is just completely crazy. And he did it on his own. He didn't have any parents or anybody who pushed him in this direction. And that's just quite remarkable, I think, because I need to push myself every single day. Otherwise, I won't do the burpees. I won't learn for the studies or anything. And I talked to him about mindset and all of the advantages of cold showers. And that's why I did the cold showers afterwards. There was just so much in this conversation with him, because at the end of the day, he's not much older than I am. And I, saw it as just a talk about, or just to talk to someone who really looks like and seems like having everything sorted out. And oh boy, I learned a lot on that day. I started with cold showers afterwards. I started to get a bit more athletic now, and I really credit it mostly to him. Of course, not completely, because at the end of the day, it was Jonas Friedrich in the first episode that told me to just do it, and that's everything. That's just a ground layer I'm building on every single day. But Jill Maurice just, brought it nearer to me. For instance, I always thought cold showers are just a dumb thing to do. I did them for a week in the summertime a few years ago, sorry about that, and I just hated it. There was no real advantage. I didn't feel better afterwards. And he just told me, yeah, of course you didn't see any advantages. You didn't do it long enough. And I said, wow, okay. And then I did it long enough, and now I love it. Yeah, the first week was complete hell, but when you really try, not just half-ass it or anybody or anything of that stuff, when you really try to do something great, then you will try to do it good in the beginning. You will look on Google and see how to really go about the cold showers, or you just do it. Just those two options are there. And the just do it option is quite easy, because you will fail in the first week or two, and you will get new lessons, you will learn them, and then it just gets easier. The other thing, to go on Google, do all of the back work, try to get every single thing completely worked out, and to know everything about cold showers and the whole thing about it. And as you see, there are 2 weeks gone just thinking about doing the thing and not doing the thing. And that's actually a problem that you should avoid. When you really want to do something, please, for the love of God, just do it. Because at the end of the day, you are going to fail. And it is not about failing, or actually it is. You should fail as much as you can. Look at me. I have a podcast now, 7 episodes out, older than half a year. I never consistently did the reels. I didn't have a TikTok account, if it wasn't for 2 weeks ago. And all that stuff. I did so many things wrong. And I still do them wrong, but I know they're wrong. But that's a whole other topic. You just need to get going. And if I didn't do the podcast, I wouldn't do 100 burpees a day at the moment. I wouldn't have the cold showers in the moment. I wouldn't have the discipline or the resistance to go through the cold showers, actually. And I, just got a bit more motivated. Because at the end of the day, it is so easy when you are motivated. Like I told you before with the Gartner hype cycle, it is completely easy when you really want to do something in the beginning. But after a few weeks, it just gets harder and harder and harder every single time. And you really need to stick with it. Because I tell you, it will get better on some days again. And when it gets better, you really, really, really see the advantages. And that's why I tell you, when you really want to do something, do it for 30 days. Not any days smaller than that, not any days longer than that. Just do it for 30 days and then evaluate. Did it really help you in the last 3 to 4 days? Did you really see any advantages? If not, it's completely fine. Cold showers are my thing at the moment, but maybe they aren't in the next few weeks. Who knows, okay? You have your own thing, and that's actually individuality. So when you really want to do something, pick your own thing. Don't ask any questions to your friends, to your parents, if you really should do it and all that stuff. Just do it. And you will learn so much more by it. That's actually the whole lesson of this podcast episode of today. And that's just actually wrapped up about all the podcast episodes that were there in the last half year. And I loved every single one of them. I loved them really, really hard. And every single podcast episode was a challenge for itself. Like this one as well. I'm talking to myself for about 20 minutes completely. And trying to not lose the thread, but there it lost. What I want to say is that the last half year with this podcast was just completely special to me, and I really loved every single second about it. And I know what my numbers are and that the numbers are not good, but I actually don't care. I want them to go up, of course, because I'm completely invested in it. But at the end of the day, I'm doing this for you. You who just listened through this completely from the beginning to the end. And I know it was hard, but thank you for staying with me today. And actually, I just want to give a bit of a foreshadowing about what's coming in the next few months. We will have other episodes with people from around the world. There are actually talks at the moment that there is somebody flying in, but I won't say too much about that because at the end of the day, it may be not happening and all that stuff. So the next few months I should be sorted. Maybe we will talk again together, but mostly I should have a guest. And I try to do it as much as possible. At the moment, every single month on a Monday, on the first Monday of the month, you will get this podcast episode. And that's just how the whole rhythm works around here. But of course, I want to go to 2 episodes a month, to 3 episodes a month, to 1 episode per week, to 2 episodes per week. That would be great, but at the moment, there's just no time. And that's why I have all of those side things. And like doing the 100 burpees a day or doing the cold showers. That should just be challenges to have something in between, but it will not always be a YouTube video. Most of it will be here on Instagram. But that's everything for today. Thank you so much for listening for this whole podcast. And I hope you learned a little bit. And I hope you learn still with me in the next few months about everything I have to learn in this world. So have a nice day, and thank you as always for listening. And That is it.